Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. I hope everybody is doing great and hope you have an amazing day today. Remember to wear your mask because COVID is even over yet, so be careful. So, for this seminar, we were about to present to you guys a very interesting topic, which is Kaizen costing. Let me tell you, why is it very interesting? Besides it's being used in working industry, it also being implemented in our daily life. We actually using Kaizen every day without even realizing it. So, I will tell you more when we dive deeper into this chapter. But first, let me introduce you myself and my fellow groupmate. So here we have Miss Wanuna Jiha and Mr. Firdaus, and of course, myself, Noraihana. We will try to explain the best we could to you guys, so enjoy! First, we shall see the introductions of this chapter. So, Kaizen was originated from Japan, as we all can guess from the word Kaizen itself. It was being originated from Japan following the World War II. And it was being introduced by a quality guru named Dr. William Edwards Deming. But then, it was being popularized by Masaki Imai, which he popularized the concept of Kaizen, which now has been a revolution around the world. So Kaizen is a system that involves everyone in the organization, includes the upper management and the lower management. So everybody is encouraged to give their ideas, even a small improvement ideas to the organization on regular basis. So basically Kaizen is based on making little changes when there is an opportunity to grab. So everybody is encouraged to contribute something to the organization. Now, let's move on to the definitions of Kaizen costing. I have laid out several sources that relates to the definitions. The first one says that Kaizen is a cost control, is a method of cost control that specifically focus on manufacturing product. So it was a combination of two Japanese characters, which is Kai and Zen, which respectively mean change and good. And the word Kaizen refers to a continuous improvement and also improvement for the better and seek to increase efficiency in its productions. So as I mentioned earlier, the word Kai represents change and it combines with the word Zen, which represents for the better. So in other words, it also means continuous improvement. So next, the other sources also says that Kaizen is a way of managing expenses of unproductive activity and services. So in other words, it also means that it eliminates waste that doesn't give any value to the company. In plain terms, it also improves the overall performance on the enterprise. And the other sources says that Kaizen costing is also known as continuous improvement costing. It's a tool for cost control and management. So the word Kaizen, Japanese word Kaizen, also means continuous changes rather than significant groundbreaking changes. Which this means that Kaizen focus on small changes. It doesn't mean it have to be something big. Yoshihiro Moderns also define Kaizen costing as the maintenance of present cost level for product currently being manufactured via systematic efforts to achieve the desired cost level. And last but not least, Kaizen costing is based on the belief that nothing is ever perfect, thus, improvement and reduction in various costs are always possible.
Thank you, Ms. Rahana. My name is Muhammad Firdaus bin Mazlan, and I would like to continue with the concept of Kaizen costing. According to Imai, in 1986, Kaizen is a continuous improvement process involving everyone, including managers and workers. Next, Suzaki in 1987 explains that Kaizen is a philosophy widely practiced that there is no end to make a process better. Each small improvement consists of many levels of development to improve manufacturing processes. And Recurrence in 1990 highlights that the impact of teamwork on Kaizen. Teamwork and commitment do not approach from involving the representative of employees, but from direct contact and communication between the individual and his boss. Lastly, Dayan, 1992, explains that Kaizen stands for the daily struggles occurring in the work area and the way to overcome it. Thus, it is more than just a means of improvement. Kaizen can be applied to any area where there is a requirement of improvement. Okay, we move to the next slide. Objective of Kaizen Costing. The objective of Kaizen Costing is to improve productivity, reduce waste, eliminate unnecessary hard work, and humanize the workplace. This is a simple and straightforward concept that everyone will understand. The objective of Kaizen Costing is to reduce actual cost to manufacture a product below the standard cost. Standard cost system generally aim to achieve the cost standards set by management, while Kaizen Costing systems are more concerned with reducing actual costs below standard costs. So, shall we continue with Ms. Najia?
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Wanur Najiha and I am going to proceed with the philosophy of Kaizen Costing. Okay, so as you know from the definition of Kaizen Costing, Kaizen is a Japanese term meaning change for the better or continuous improvement. It is a Japanese business philosophy regarding the processes that continuously improve the operations and involve all the employees. Kaizen sees improvement in productivity as a gradual and methodical process. Okay, so Kaizen is a Japanese business philosophy that focuses on the gradually improving productivity by involving all employees by making the work environment more efficient. Kaizen also translates to change for the better or continuous improvement. The small changes used in Kaizen can involve quality control, just-in-time delivery, standardized work, the use of efficient equipment, and the elimination of waste. Okay, so the changes can come from any employee anytime and don't have to happen slowly. Although Kaizen recognizes the small changes now can have the big future impacts. Okay, now let's see on the principle of Kaizen costing. So, principle of Kaizen costing consists of 6, which is continuous improvement, as you can see from the philosophy and also the definition. Continuous improvement in the present situation at an agreeable cost. And also, there's no limits to the improvement level that has to be implemented. Advocates collective decision making and knowledge application. Next, it concentrates on waste or loss elimination. We will see about this later, which improving the process and system and also improve the productivity. Number 5, it's establish the standards and then continually working on improving them. And last but not least is participating all employees and covering every business area, for example, like all the levels, departments, and also units. Okay. Now I'm going to proceed with the usage of Kaizen costing. Okay, so Kaizen costing is implemented in business organization to manage different types of costs in a business. So there are 5 types of costs. The first one is the cost of the supply chain, which include the administration, other procurement, inventory, and also transportation costs. It regulates all the costs incurred in the production of goods and services, including the cost of machinery, tools, labor, raw material, and other equipment. The second one is the cost of acquiring a patent, license, registration fees, hiring or chartered accountant, and all other legal formalities. At the same time, it is also applicable at the same time of redesigning of any product which involve costs of research and analysis. The third one is human resource. So it functions to manage the cost of hiring skilled employees, their training, and also the development and retention. Number 4, the wastage of raw material and the time of labor can be controlled by improving the business operation. Okay, so the organization also incurred cost of disposal of the waste or defective products. Thus, Kaizen Costing will provide a solution to reusability of waste and improving the productivity efficiency to reduce the manufacturing of faulty products. And last but not least is the cost of product promotion, advertisement, dispatch, selling and distribution, and also transportation and recruitment of marketing staff. Okay, that's all for now. We're going to proceed with other part of Kaizen costing.
Achieving your biggest goals using the Kaizen philosophy. John is struggling with conversations. He attended a dinner party at his friend's house, and as the drinks kept flowing, the discussion became more heated. However, John has been unable to contribute any more than a few words because he did not have anything to say. He is very proud of his intellectual prowess and ability to trump arguments, and so today left his ego pretty bruised. So, John has decided to reintroduce the habit of reading. He used to be aware of all current events, but the day's discussion left him wondering what rock he has been living under lately. In today's video, we're talking about Kaizen, the Japanese philosophy that means to become good through change. Contrary to what is peddled, overnight success only happens when you win the lottery. Realizing your goals, if they aren't lottery-related, takes time and continuous improvement. The question we answer today is, how can you achieve massive goals using the Kaizen approach? The Kaizen approach. How old are you? Are you an employee struggling to get to that next promotion? Is it your final year in university and you're hoping and working hard for a fulfilling career ahead? Or maybe you've just had your first child and are already thinking of a college fund for him or her. The Kaizen approach starts when you answer the question, what are your goals? A teenager's goal could be to go to Harvard University, since he or she wants to be a big-shot lawyer. For you, financial freedom at 40 years of age is the dream. The goal of a 9-month-old baby could be to stand on their own 2 feet without their parents' help. A goal defines a point in the future that you in the present would like to achieve. The next step is to create a system through which you will be able to achieve this goal. John wants to get back to his old argumentative self, in his ideal future, his friends listening to him in awe because of the points he contributes to discussions. The difference John has to cater for is knowledge on everything that is happening currently. For this video, a system is defined as the combination of behaviors that are done regularly and feed into a goal. Thus, John has therefore developed a system of reading books on current issues to achieve his objective. After World War II, Kaizen was developed in a bid to eliminate waste and increase efficiency in industrial processes. This was done by introducing small, positive changes into these processes to lead to an eventual increase in quality of the products. A system for achieving a goal is the equivalent of an industrial process. For John to utilize this philosophy, he needs to break down his system of reading books on current events into its smallest form, reading 2 pages every day. Reading 2 pages of a book a day will encounter the least resistance from John as compared to 20 pages of the same. Positive changes are then introduced to this system. On the first day, John reads 2 pages. On the third day, he scales it up to 4 pages and to 5 on the 7th day. This system is improved daily until it becomes a habit that will lead to the achievement of the goal. Procrastination and an inability to achieve goals arise when you are so entirely focused on the goal that you forget the process of getting there. Comparing the small progress we are making and the massive goal that is ahead of us may trick our brain into thinking that we aren't doing anything or getting anywhere. Kaizen understands that eventual gains arise from systems, and by improving how we use our time, effort, and smarts in the process, we will get our desired results. If the story of the hare and the tortoise is anything to go by, slow and steady does win the race. What about when you are backtracking? Kaizen works on improving systems that are already in place or have been introduced. It is for this reason that it has contributed to the success of companies like Toyota and Canon. However, it becomes a little tricky when the philosophy is used by human beings because of our emotional nature. What happens when we are no longer energetic, ambitious, and excited about our new goals? Is Kaizen useful when you are down, lethargic, or when you simply revert to your old habits? It is important to understand that this philosophy is about eventual positive improvement and the development of good habits. Developing a habit is like building muscle from working out over a period. When you miss strength training for 3 sessions, the muscle you built over 6 months is unlikely to dissipate into thin air. If you're going through a rough patch, don't be frustrated and give up. For a while now, Brian has been failing at his goal of sleeping for at least 7 hours a night. When you look closely, however, you will note 3 years ago, he was sleeping for barely 3 hours every day. Currently, he sleeps for between 4 and 5 hours a night. While he may not have achieved his ultimate goal, the progress he has made is undeniable. And that is the greatest strength that the philosophy of Kaizen has: constant progress.
Hello guys, with me again. So, we are at Pop Quiz 1. Which of the following is the cause of any action taken to investigate a defect? A. Prevention cause. B. Failure cause. C. Appraisal cause. D. None of these. You'll get 5 seconds to think about it. Be fast. The answer is prevention cause. Prevention cause is a cost incurred to prevent or avoid quality defect, while failure cause is a cost that a manufacturer incurred when product is found defect. Next is appraisal cost. Appraisal cost is most likely a customer study of costs, such as field study. To the next type of Kaizen costing. As we can see here, asset specific plus product specific, and then we can get different type of Kaizen costing. What is asset specific? Asset and organization specific Kaizen costing activities planned according to the exigencies, urgent need or demands of each team. Kaizen costing activities are planned and directed as per the requirement of the firm or team. Next, product specific. Product model specific costing activities carried out in special projects with added emphasis of value analysis. Kaizen costing activities are undertaken in specialized projects with great focus on value analysis. Next, type of Kaizen methodologies. There are 4 types of Kaizen methodologies. The first one is Kaizen Dayan, bottom-up improvement, also known as daily Kaizen. This Kaizen describes an action of improvement where people are involved to improve their own processes. Next, Kaizen event, define improvement. Kaizen event is not like Kaizen Dayan. It is not about a continuous improvement because it is about a specific process improvement developed for specific time, and it will be succeed in a specific time, and then it will be repeated again. Next is Kaikaku radical change. Kaikaku radical change focus on incremental changes. It describes a process where an entire organization is focused on a radical transformation, such as traditional bookkeeping of accounting. They change to the systematic software of bookkeeping accounting. Next, if Kaikaku is revolutionary, Kakushin breakthrough innovation is a game changing. It happens when you move from A to Z, which means it is an entirely new way of doing things. For example, a manufacturer can use 3D printer to create their own raw material without needing to have a supplier anymore. And next, we move to Miss Raihana.
We have arrived to the most important parts in Kaizen costing, which is the 3 pillars in Kaizen costing. This is very important because it highlights the whole concept of Kaizen costing. So, under these 3 pillars, we have number 1 is housekeeping, number 2 is Muda elimination. Muda means waste, So basically it means the eliminations of waste. And number 3 is standardization. Under housekeeping, we will look at the 5S technique that is being introduced in Kaizen Costing. And under eliminations of waste, there is 5 principles on how company can eliminate waste. And under standardization, the organization needs to develop standards in order to ensure that the manufacturing process can be done effectively and efficiently. For the next slide, we will look on the housekeeping, the 5S technique. I will explain in detail what is the component of the techniques. So let's go. Under housekeeping, we will look at the 5S technique in Kaizen Costing, which comprises of 5 elements, which the first one is sort, straighten, shine, standardize, and also sustain. Or in Japanese words, it means seri, seiton, seiso, seiketsu, and shitsuke. Next, we will look at the definitions of sort first. The first S of the techniques. So sort means is to categorize the product based on their needs. The unwanted products must be marked red and must be moved out of the business. So the goods just now can be sold to the workers, or the company can throw them as scrap. So Siri also, it focused to eliminate the unnecessary item from the workplace. It put a red tagging on the items that is unnecessary to the company. So it is more organized in terms of storage area or the work area. Items which are completely unnecessary are being disposed, and sorting also helps in eliminating scraps, obsolete jigs, and also fixtures. It specifies the work areas to be evaluated and identify types of items which need to be evaluated. So for example, in setting the red tags, one individual should ask the question. What question you might ask? It is how much is needed, how often is it needed, and is it useful? So after all these questions are answered, the red tag is attached to the item that is not necessary and decide what action to be taken. And the next step, it shall be the documentation as to measure the improvement and saving through the process. That basically sort means. And the second one is straighten. Straighten is the simplifications of activity must be arranged in an organized way. It also enhances all the resources and product in terms of visibility, availability, and usability. In other words, it also means a place for everything and everything in its place. So it focuses on effective storage and segregations of things is done. Activity includes in these techniques is labeling each item, use color for quick identification, store similar items together, store different items together, or putting names and numbers on everything. So it is more organized. And the third S of this technique is shine. Shine here applies to ensuring workplace cleanliness. It provides a productive working atmosphere to the employees. So the third S means it focuses on cleaning. Daily cleanliness is a must to have a better work area. More comfortable and safe workplace is ensured in the shine techniques. A high quality work is also being achieved. A clean and organized work area acts itself as a motivation factors for the employee to even work harder. So every employee enjoys doing their work in a clean and healthy environment. The fourth techniques in this Kaizen costing is standardize, or we can pronounce it as seikatsu. So standardized means to establish standards for cleanliness, usability, and maintaining the placement of items in day-to-day business operations. A high standards of workplace can be ensured by standardization. This is because good work standards is being maintained in these techniques. For example, we can take McDonald's and also Pizza Hut because they set the best example for it. This is because they develop the standards for their employees, which their employee itself play a great role in it. Every employee know their responsibilities and housekeeping duty and how to perform their duty in regular routine. So the best work practice are carried out and different ways are determined to ensure that everyone can carry their duty effectively and efficiently. Okay, so the fifth one is sustain or shitsuke. This means to communicate and educate the employees about the changes made. It also developing a sense of self-control and discipline among them to maintain and follow the set standards. So the last techniques in this Kaizen costing is considered to be the toughest to implement. This is because many firms has implement the 5S activity that takes months. But it is very difficult to sustain the activity performed for a longer period of time. Standards have been maintained after years and years in an effective manner. Therefore, there should be a counseling of employee should be done regularly to sustain the productions of the company. A proper discipline should be maintained, and also there should be an award and reward system in order to motivate the employees to become more efficient in their work. Therefore, it can be a financial gain or a formal presentations for the company itself. Okay guys, now let's play some games, shall we? To test your understanding in this chapter that we have learned so far. So the question is, which of the following define setting up standards for a neat and clean workspace? A is sort, B standardize, C shine, and D is sustain. What do you guys think the answer would be? So the correct answer should be C shine, because it focuses on the cleanliness and the environment of the workplace. So if you got it right, congrats!
Okay, so as you guys know, there are 3 pillars in Kaizen costing. The first one is housekeeping, the second one is Muda or waste elimination, and the third one is standardization. Okay, now so we shall look at the Muda or waste elimination. Okay, so the lean management holds that resources is in a process, machines and people. It's either add value or don't add value to the product or services being processed. Okay, so the any non-value adding resources is classified as Muda. Okay, what do you know about Muda? Muda is actually a Japanese word. Okay, so it's actually the meaning of Muda is waste. That is why it is called as Muda elimination. We have to eliminate the waste. Okay, and work is defined as a series of value-adding tasks needed to convert raw material into the final products. Kaizen seeks to improve business processes to eradicate the 7 types of waste as identified in the lean management. So as you can see here, these are the 7 types of waste that has been identified in the lean management. The first one we can see waste of transportation, waste of waiting, waste of motion, waste of overprocessing, waste of defect, waste of inventory, and last but not least is waste of overproduction. Okay, so now we shall look at into one by one what is this waste is meant by. So the first one is waste of transportation. Waste of transportation is, for example, restacking, long move, and also the pick up and put down. And the second one is waste of waiting. Okay, what is meant by waste of waiting? Which is actually a time wasted waiting for anything. Okay, for example, equipment to be rectified, suppliers, management approval, people, meeting without clear agenda, machine downtime, waiting for communication from the customer, waiting for clarification, and so on. Okay, so these are the ways of waiting that should be eliminated, also using the Kaizen costing. So the third one is the waste of motion. What is meant by waste of motion? So it is actually an unnecessary movement of worker. For example, like walking between offices to communicate with colleagues, walking to the printer, shuffling through the papers, walking back and forth between computer screens, disorganize the computer files, and so on. These are the waste of motion. Number 4 is waste of overprocessing. What is meant by waste of overprocessing? It's actually any step of process that does not add value from the client point of view, which meant it processing beyond what is needed. Okay, for example, a manager asks for the gross profit, but the accountant goes ahead and compute the net profit instead. So that is a waste of overprocessing. Number 5, the waste of defects. Waste of defect is meant by product, services, or any information that is late, inaccurate, or incomplete. For example, data entry error, design flow, any error that is passed on to the next process, only for the product to be written for correction, absenteeism, and also employee turnover. This defect can cause customer dissatisfaction and leads to waste of production time and material as well. And number 6 is waste of inventory. Waste of inventory arises from ordering excess material just in case they are needed. For example, stock of anything like emails, suppliers, paperwork, material, parts, and any form of batch production. Okay, so as you guys know, Kaizen goal is to improve communication and relationship with supplier to facilitate. Thus, just-in-time inventory management is needed. And last but not least is the waste of overproduction. By producing more than required, that is what meant waste of overproduction. Okay, so normally it arises from production of goods based on estimated demand, push production. For example, producing extra copies, processing order that might be changed, emailing people that don't really need to be CC'd in the email, printing documents that might need to be revised, and so on. And also, Kaizen goal is actually to improve and streamline the process so that a firm produces exactly what customer order exactly when they order it. So these are the 7 types of waste that has been identified in lead management. Now we shall look at the waste elimination principle. Okay. Kaizen focuses on identifying the root cause of the 7 types of waste and improving processes to eradicate it. Now, Kaizen waste elimination is based on 5 principles. Sorry. So the first one is, as you can see here, identify waste or make the waste visible. The second one is be aware of the waste. The third one is appoint any individual accountable to identify the waste. And the fourth one is measure the waste. Either it is minor, moderate, or major. And lastly, improve process to eradicate the waste. So now we shall look at the what most likely cause of each of the 7 types of the waste that I've already explained just now. Okay, so if waste of production, waste of transportation, the possible causes would be poor office layout, complicated material of flow, disorganized workplace, and so on. While for ways of waiting, it shall be like the unplanned machine downtime, manpower shortage, or overstaffing. The third one is the waste of motion. The possible cause would be the poor housekeeping, non-standardized work routine, disorganized storage location and workplace. The first one is waste of overprocessing. The waste of overprocessing possible cause would be unclear work instruction, inappropriate value analysis, excess refinement. That would be what waste of overprocessing be like. And the fifth one is waste of defect. It would be lack of process control, incapable supplier, unskilled personnel. For waste of inventory, it will be like high rework rates, lack of material requisition and material issuance, documents, and also long lead time. While for the waste of overproduction, the possible cause would be high capacity machine, ineffective production planning, and also the volume incentive. For example, like pay, sales, purchasing. Okay, so that's all for the Muda elimination, and I'll proceed with the standardization that will be presented by Firdaus.
Thank you, Ms. Najiha. Okay, the third pillars of Kaizen costing is standardization. Standardization implies the establishment of standards where production must be carried out. A better way of thinking about standard is to set criteria. Thus, production will be completed. Maintaining standard is a way of assuring quality at each process and preventing the recurrence of errors. Thus, a good standard usually consists of: first, setting a clear objective that will be easily understood by all layers of management, from manager, workers, and also top management. Next, showing the link between cause and effect, so everybody knows what will happen in this situation. Next, provide the best, most efficient, and easiest way to do the job. It will be helping a lot for the new workers to still comply with the standard. Next, the last one, offer basis for improvement and maintenance. If there's any loophole or error, there will be improvement and also maintenance at the standard. Next, we are going to see the process of setting standard. The first one is involve your employees. Next, find problems, think and find solution, implement the standard, and then check whether it is compliant or suitable or not, and then standardize it, and then repeat. For further explanation, we move to the next slide. Okay, involve your employees. In implementing any transition, the participation of workers plays a vital role. Employee engagement and their input helps to generate idea and knowledge. As we know, employees are directly involved in the production of goods, so they will know more than the manager. Next, find problems. The organization, together with its employees of all the departments, need to find out the various problems in the organization. And next, think and find the solution. This move takes a lot of brainstorming and technical approach. Managers therefore form a teams of ingenious workers to find a realistic solution to each problem. After that, they need to implement. Then, implementing any change involves cost and risk simultaneously. Therefore, to be on a safer side, the new idea must be testified on a small part of organization. And then check. Manager have to take care of the proper execution of the aspects of the Kaizen. The manager need to continuously check whether the implementation are succeed or not. And then, after the implementation is succeed, they must standardize. Set the change as a standard procedure for all the department and across the organization. Lastly, they must repeat When performed consistently over a time, it becomes organization culture and will be benefit to the company. Next, we move to Ms. Najia.
Okay, so you have listened to the third pillar of Kaizen costing, which is the standardization. Now we shall proceed to the hierarchy of Kaizen. Okay, these are the three main areas to be considered in developing standard. The first one is work duration. The second one is work sequence, and the third one is standard in process stock. Okay. Now, let's see the advantages and also disadvantages of Kaizen costing. Okay, so these are the advantages. There are 4 that we have concluded and put into the slide to make it more understandable, and also the disadvantages. So, the first advantages that we have found is the customer satisfaction, and the next one is promote cross-functional teams, problem solving, create a better work environment. And for the disadvantages, we have found that Kaizen costing is difficult to implement in existing system. The changes is also difficult, and it requires training, and also there are permanent change system which you cannot turn back. Okay, so these are only the points, and I'm going to explain these advantages and also disadvantages. Okay. Alright, here are the advantages of Kaizen costing, and the first one is the customer satisfaction. A customer-oriented technique which focuses on providing better service to the consumer. So that's what makes the customer more satisfied with the Kaizen costing. And the second one is it promotes cross-functional team. The teams formed include employees with different skills and knowledge perform in a work team with a common aim of improvement. The third one is problem solving, a technique which emphasizes on improvement and also the enhancements of the product, process, project, and also the organization. And the last one is reduce the wastage, which is archived by better time management and also material management. Okay, these are only the 4 advantages of Kaizen costing. Now we shall look at the disadvantage of Kaizen costing. Okay, the first one is which I already told you that it is difficult to implement the existing system. Okay, so as soon as Kaizen is implemented in the organization, it is very difficult to return to the old management system. Number 2 is the changes is difficult. Okay, people are always reluctant to change, and the management might be reluctant to implement the Kaizen because they feel that it is very expensive. The third one is training requirement. Kaizen costing requires a lot of expertise and also training. And if not implemented strategically, it may even lead to adverse effects. And last but not least is the permanent change system. The change to implement it through Kaizen costing is irreversible. And also it requires a lot of effort and cost in withdrawing the such decisions. Okay, so after we look at the advantage and disadvantage, you will look at the limitation of Kaizen costing afterwards.
Thank you, Ms. Najia. So let me proceed with limitations of Kaizen costing. First, some changes cannot be implemented gradually and may need radical or expensive solution. And next is training staff to adapt to new changes could be expensive and very demanding. If employees do not play their part in adopting these changes, the amount of time and resources spent will go to waste, such as training costs. Furthermore, it will distort the entire management system. Kaizen could be difficult for businesses to go back to previous system, as we know just now, it is a permanent system change. Also, employees might be unwilling to change the system that they have been used to do every day, every week, every year in the previous year. Proceed to the next, which is differences between Kaizen costing and Reengineering. Okay, for scope, Kaizen focus on specific sub-process, although usually start with Kagaku, which addresses entire value stream process. As we know, Kaizen got many types. And then Reengineering, the scope and entire value stream processes only. For the rate of change, Kaizen changes either incremental or radical, same as Reengineering, but the differences is Kaizen affects specific sub-process at a time, while Reengineering affects entire integrated process. Next, for the cost, Kaizen is inexpensive or even free. As we know, it is daily improvement, day by day, and then specific time. It is not involve a full organization. Next, for Reengineering, cost is high because it involves expensive technology, computer, and other systems. For the technology, Kaizen minimize and eliminate reliance on technology, moving toward visual methods and simplifications, while Reengineering, it requires assistance from technology such as computer, which often led by computer consultant. Duration for Kaizen, a never-ending process. Every sub-process should be made improvement continuously. For Reengineering, the duration, a project with a defined beginning and end. We go to the next is differences between Kaizen costing and standard costing. Kaizen costing, cost reduction targets are set and applied monthly, which is cost reduction system, while standard costing are set annually or semi-annually, which is known as cost control system. Number 2, variance analysis involves target Kaizen cost versus actual cost reduction amount, while standard costing, variance analysis involves comparing actual to standard costs. For Kaizen costing, investigation occurs when target reduction are not attained, while standard costing, investigation occurs when standards are not met. The last one, focus on continuous improvement. As we know, Kaizen costing is continuous improvement, while standard costing is focused on process stability. That's all for me. So, proceed with Ms. Rahana.
This is the last part of this chapter, which we provide to you the applications of Kaizen costing. In this part, we will give you an example of several case study that we find, so that you guys can understand more on how to implement Kaizen in real life. So let's see. So we have found 4 case study for the applications. The first one is we got Toyota Kaizen, which in this case study, Toyota facing an acute labor shortage in the early 1990s due to the low birth rates in the Japan at that time. So what Toyota do is they implement the 5S technique, which this highlight the straighten and the sustain techniques, because they change in their production management and also human resource management practice. So in result, the outcome of the technique has been implemented, they able to improve the productivity and productions efficiency with less number of workers needed. And for the second case study that we have found is a case study International Journal of Engineering Research and Application. So in this case study, they highlight several issues such as it creates fatigues to the operator due to material that they use, and more time is consumed on loading and unloading time, and also create problem in misalignment of piston rod used. So the Kaizen techniques that they highlight here is sort, straighten, and also sustain, because they reduce the weight of the sizing tool in order to smooth the manufacturing process. So as the result, Kaizen costing technique that is being implemented able to reduce the cycle time, lower operation fatigue, lower in quality rejection, new pattern is accommodated, and also increase in operators' confidence and morale. So the third case study that we found is on the evaluations and implementations of lean manufacturing methodologies in an industry. And the issue being highlighted here is to find out the types of waste prevalent in the machine. So the techniques that is being implemented in this case study is sort, shine, and also sustain. This is because they do a regular cleaning of the machining area, a proper illumination throughout the working area, encourage communication between workers, and also inspections of machine done on daily basis. So due to these efforts, they're able to reduce the waste of the shop, simplifying the process, and getting rid of the non-value adding functions, which means that the Kaizen technique is being effectively and efficiently works on the procedure, on the process of the companies. And for the fourth case study is on the impact of Kaizen implementations on performance of manufacturing company staff. So the issue being highlighted here is to explain Kaizen and innovation along with the disclosure of nature of performance and also its role. The technique being highlighted is sort and straighten. Ineffective activity should be eliminated, and also the similar style of activity should be combined. And the outcome from this technique being used is demonstrate constant cost of quality control and other activities of a small group. That is basically how different industry implement Kaizen costing in their business operations. With that said, this is the end of our presentations regarding Kaizen costing. I hope you guys can understand what we're trying to explain about this chapter. And if you guys have any question, feel free to ask us. And yeah, bye!